Over the last 2 to 3 months, I've been able to generate 3 to 5 sales calls per day with my agency, with about 98% of that being completely automated. But now I'm completely ditching all of it. So in this video, I'm going to tell you why I'm no longer mass cold emailing, what my new plan is, and whether you should consider doing something similar. So just for a little bit of background, when I first started my agency, I was just trying to get any clients I could because I'm doing YouTube ads for info products and coaches. But I was like, if you have a course, bro, I'm just letting you work. And I was just trying to get volume, right? I was trying to send out a bunch of cold emails. I was doing like 25 to 50 cold emails per day, which is what all the gurus tell you. And this worked, right? I was able to get around 10 or so clients in my first 2 or 3 months of doing cold email, and it works really well. But the problem is that once I started working with some of these clients, I realized that most of them weren't a good fit for my service, and kind of vice versa. And that's just kind of the nature with online businesses. Your specific service or your specific strategy isn't going to work for all businesses within that business model. As I went on with this, I realized that if I was going to keep doing this, signing a bunch of clients that weren't a good fit for my service, I was going to end up wasting a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of bandwidth, having a bunch of clients that would keep cycling each month, and I wouldn't be able to focus on getting high quality clients that could actually scale my agency with. Quick disclaimer is that this necessarily won't apply to all agencies out there. In fact, it won't apply to most of you guys. I'm just kind of sharing you my story. Maybe this might give you some ideas depending on what agency you're running. But here's the real reason. Again, I run YouTube ads for courses and for coaches. And the thing with online businesses is that especially for my niche, is that the marketing strategy is quite different, or at least a little bit different across every single business, right? The offer, the messaging, and the ads, right? And the funnel. And the problem is that if you don't have all these things dialed in before you run the ads, then there's a good chance that the ads just aren't going to work. And on top of that, since I'm only doing YouTube ads, YouTube ads only work for specific types of businesses. They don't work for everything out there as much as Facebook does. Which means that if I were to sign a bunch of clients, out of all these clients that I sign, I would only be able to generate, good results or fantastic results for a small percentage of them, which is not good for any service-based business. Now you may say, Ryan, why don't you just book a bunch of sales calls still, take a bunch of prospects and just close a very small percentage of them. This can work, but what I found is that, especially as I was scaling last month, was this is a huge waste of time. If I was taking 5 sales calls per day, but only 1 out of 10 sales calls was a good prospect, and out of those prospects, I would only close 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3. It's just a huge waste of time, right? I'm spending 5 hours per day trying to prepare for sales calls, taking sales calls, and doing follow-ups. And for me, it just wasn't worth it. And on top of that, what I was also finding is that a lot of these clients are kind of qualified for my service, right? They kind of have a good funnel, they kind of have a good offer, but I know that if I were to run ads for them, we wouldn't be able to get awesome results as much as if we were to find a perfectly qualified client. Now, if you're running a new agency, or if you're someone who's been in the space for a while, you may say hey, you're not every client is going to be amazing. You're going to have to put up with a few bad ones. Yes, this is true, but my goal is to scale to 100K per month, right? Or at least 50K per month to start with. And if I want to actually get to that point using my service, I'm just going to have to hire a bunch of people. I'm going to have a bunch of huge systems in place, and I just don't want to have that, right? I want to actually just be able to chill, be able to service a few really good clients and actually get great results for the ones that actually do work with. And the problem with having a bunch of less than amazing clients, or clients that you're not getting great results for, is that your testimonials and your case studies just aren't going to be that great, or you're not going to have that many of them. And another problem I had is that on the lead qualification side is that it was taking my VA a bunch of hours, or it currently is taking her a bunch of hours just to go through hundreds of leads just to find 1 qualified prospect, which then on top of I still have to go and qualify them more myself to see whether it's the right offer for my business, which is a huge waste of time, it's a huge waste of money, and it just wasn't working for me. And the point of having a few really good clients is that you don't really have to do as much outbound anymore, because what you can do then is leverage your testimonials, leverage your case studies, and also leverage word of mouth and referrals to get other really good clients that already know the clients you're working with. And basically from there, you can have a small roster, of 5 to 10 clients who are each paying you 5 to 10 to even 20K per month, and you just kind of relax. Well, not relax. You can kind of take your time and provide great service to each one, get great results for all of them, and also have great relationships with them, and also make your life much more easy and much more enjoyable. So how am I actually going about this? How am I actually changing my outreach strategy, and what am I going to do going forward? So instead of mass cold emailing 50 emails per day to a bunch of people who are unqualified, I'm actually taking the exact opposite approach. So I still am going to use email, but instead of sending them to 50 people a day, I'm actually going to find super qualified leads. I'm going to send very, very high quality, highly personalized videos to each of them, and I'm actually going to give them a lot of value up front, and then build relationships with them and try to actually close them kind of over the long term. Now, this is going to be a very slow process. This is not going to be I'm going to close 3 clients in the next week. But yeah, the reason I'm going with this strategy is because even if I don't close a lot of these prospects, I'm still able to build a lot of relationships with them. If someone gets a lot of value out of my outreach, then they may refer me to someone else that could be a good client. And for the people that I do close, we start off with a really good relationship. I'm able to basically build a lot of trust with them. And if I do get great results, then I'm going to have fantastic testimonials. I'm going to have really good results and profit shares, and it's just going to make everyone happy. But the way I'm approaching this is I'm going to have a cold email. I'm going to use also social media outreach. I'm also going to send completely personalized looms where I'm hey, hey, like here's a strategy you can use for your business, and I'm going to walk you through everything. I'm going to basically give you a bunch of upfront value, and if you want, you can work with me. This may or may not work. I don't actually have 100% confidence that this strategy is going to work yet, but this is the approach I want to take. And if it gets me like even like 1 to 2 really good clients in the next month or so, I think that's going to pay off in the long run. And again, guys, I'm not saying this is the optimal strategy. I'm not saying this is the absolute best way to scale your agency. This is just the way I want to operate. I want to have a small roster of really good clients making 6 figures per month for, and I get a small profit share of that. And that's going to make my agency happy. It's going to make them happy, and life is going to be good. And that's also the way I prefer to operate, right? I don't want to have 100 clients who I never even talk to and just build a bunch of systems and be like, okay, yeah, like I have 100 people in agency. It's just going to be a pain in the ass, right? I want to be able to like actually feel like I'm delivering the best possible service and the best possible value to each of these clients who are also going to provide a lot of value to me in return. All right, so that's all nice and great, Ryan. I don't give a shit about you. What should I do if I'm running an agency or just starting out or whatever? Honestly, if you're a beginner or if you're doing like a regular agency, like you're just doing ads for like dentists or chiropractors, I honestly do not recommend doing my strategy. Like especially if you're not in like the online business niche or if you're not doing ads, I don't think this method is really going to do you much good. This is more for people who just really want to have a really like strong service, who want to get really great results for their clients, don't want to manage like 20, 30, 50 different clients who they never even, give a shit about. And it's not going to work for every service. It's not going to work for every niche. Again, if you're just starting out, cold emailing, cold calling, cold DMing, at scale definitely works. It's a strategy that I use to scale to 10K per month, and it's definitely going to work for you too, as long as you just put the work in and stay consistent. And the only reason my model works is because I can make a lot of money per clients if I can get them great results. Unlike a local business, there's no really cap on how much I can scale my clients' businesses to. Like I could be making them 50K per month, 100K per month, 500K per month. It's very different compared to like a dentist who actually has a physical capacity. So again, this isn't going to work for everyone. If you're just starting out especially, I do recommend you just go for volume and just slowly fine tune your way up. And even then, I would still stick to volume and just grow your agency that way. And of course, my old system definitely works, right? I've talked about it in another video. I'm actually going to release a new video about my old outreach system and how it got me to 10K per month. So, keep an eye out for that soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just kind of giving you guys an update. This is kind of just like not so much do this, follow my strategy, it's right. This is just another way you can approach your outreach and approach your agency depending on what service you're offering. See you guys in the next video.